that your prayer this morning, that because of His glory, you can do anything. Not some things. Not when it's convenient. Not when you have a chance. I will do it when I have a chance. Can you do it when you don't have the chance, when you make the chance? For His glory I can do. Mother, can see me ever say for something. And God will use you if you put that song into practice. For His glory, if you are willing to be the sacrifice, God will use you. In Jesus' name. Please be seated. I want to welcome you to Fresh Sunday. 14th is the first day of May, also is the first Sunday of the new month. I want to say welcome to this new month. We have our church conference after service, so quickly I want to recognize the platform guests. As usual, we want to celebrate our council. We want to celebrate all the council people in the house. Elder Young, Elder Colin, let's celebrate this wonderful man that God is using to keep our hands up. I want to recognize our wonderful deacons. I see, by the way, Deacon Miaka is being honored today at the Silvering Church of God, a special mother. We want to celebrate all our wonderful deacons. God bless you. We want to celebrate Pastor Gideon Marley, that man of God. We want to celebrate you this morning. We also have a special guest with us. He's not a stranger in this house. His children are a part of our school. He has a huge part of this ministry. We are neighbors. We are colleagues in ministry. But he's a very, very big brother to me. Want to recognize the Reverend. I won't call the team, but I will make a mistake. Jean-Pierre Solomon. But you can remember me later on for me. Let's celebrate Solomon in the house. In Jesus' mighty name. Quickly, open your Bible to Matthew 26, beginning at verse 6. Quickly. Matthew 26, beginning at verse 6 to 12. Matthew 26, 6 to 12. The Bible says, while Jesus was in Bethany, in the home of Simon the leper, a woman came to him with an alabaster jar of very expensive perfume, which she poured on his head as he was reclining at the table. When the disciples saw this, they were indigent, they were angry. Why this waste? They asked. This perfume could have been sold at a high price and the money given to the poor. And aware of this, Jesus said to them, why are you bothering this woman? She has done a beautiful thing to me. The poor you will always have with you, but you will not always have me. When she poured this perfume on my body, she did this to prepare me for my burial. The words of the Lord. From these verses, permit me this morning to speak to you on the theme, why this waste? Why this waste? People of God has never had problem when it came to giving to God or the things of God, from the Old Testament, the New Testament, on letting down. People from Genesis all the way to Malachi never had difficulty giving and contributing to the work of God, to the things of God. Even in the New Testament, the church was considered as a generous church. Until now. Until now, giving to the work of God and to the things of God has become a challenge. When you recall in the Old Testament, the first time men ever gave to God is in Genesis chapter 4. And the Bible says 2 young men called Cain and Abel brought an offering to the Lord. The Bible said Cain brought some of the crops from the ground. For Abel, he brought the 3 best. The first, the fattest, and I call the last one the best. So it's 2 F plus 1 B. The first, the fattest, and the best. And the Bible says God rejected Cain's offering, but God accepted Abel's offering. So as far back as Genesis chapter 4, people have an inclination to give back to this God who created them. Or the first we call it giving of tithes from Abraham to Melchizedek is mentioned in Genesis 14 and verse 20. The Bible says, and Abraham gave a tenth of all his possessions to a man called Melchizedek, who was described as the priest of the Lord Most High. Giving in the Old Testament was not a problem until we see in Exodus 23 when God commanded his people to bring a first fruit of all of their increase as an appreciation of his blessing over their lives for that entire year of the harvest. Giving in the Old Testament was never a problem for the people. People in the Old Testament had no challenge giving to God, even beyond as they relate to their own lives. We see Abraham giving his son Isaac to be killed at the request of God. His own flesh and blood. When God asked him to give his son as a sacrifice, Abraham never hesitated. He took his only born child to give him as a sacrifice unto God. We see Hannah, after being mocked for several years of having semen in her womb and being barren, when she gave birth to the only child that took away the shame, she did not hesitate but to give him to God. Giving in the Old Testament and even coming to the New Testament was never a problem for the people of God until now. In Exodus 36 from verse 4 to 6, God instructed Moses to tell the children of Israel to build a tabernacle for him, a place of his presence in the wilderness. The condition of these people at the time, they had just left slavery from 430 years of shame, disgrace, humiliation, poor, suffering, stricken, having nothing. But God still asked them in the wilderness to build him a tabernacle unto him. The Bible says that the people brought and gave to that project until the contractors that were building the tabernacle, they came down from on the project and they went to Moses and they told Moses, start They were former slaves. They just from Egypt. But let me read for your hearing specifically what was said in Exodus 36, beginning at verse 4 to verse 6. It says, so all of the skilled workers who were doing all the work on the sanctuary left what they were doing. Verse 5, and they said to Moses, the people are bringing more than enough for doing the work the Lord has commanded them to do. Verse 6, then Moses gave an order, and they sent this word throughout the camp, no man, no woman is to make anything else as an offering for the sanctuary. The Bible says, and so the people were restrained from bringing to the Lord. Imagine people coming out of slavery for 430 years, not having any employment, no salary, no contract, no job, no business, no source of income. But when the Lord required of them to build a tabernacle, the Bible said they gave so much until they were restrained. They had to beg them to start giving. People had no problem with giving until now. Until now. Not until these seafarer people have been captured as slaves because of their disobedience after they have entered the land of promise. They have been captured and recaptured so many times that they stop focusing on God and they begin selfish and begin to focus on themselves. In Haggai chapter 1, the scenario of men never having problem to give to God, to the work of God, changed. Because in the book of Haggai, something interesting happened. The first temple in Jerusalem had been broken down, it was rebuilt. When they were captured and thrown into captivity, this first temple that was rebuilt was broken down again. When the people returned from exile, from slavery, you see, they just like every one of Liberians. We wouldn't know God when we are suffering, but when all is well with us, we don't have time for God. Just like the children of Israel, every time they went on their own, enjoyed their life, they forgot about God. So for God to bring them to their senses, God will hire a wicked king to capture them, carry them into slavery. When they are suffering, they will cry to God, and God will deliver them. At this time in Haggai chapter 1, God has delivered them from another captivity. They came back home. The temple is destroyed for the second time. But the people decided this time around, we're not going to waste our time on building the house of God. Because guess what? Their homes were also broken down. Their communities were broken down. They had nowhere to sleep. So they said to themselves, we are going to prioritize ourselves first. This time around, we will build our homes. We will build our houses. And after we get through doing that, then we will turn to rebuild the temple. Let me submit to you. God have no problem with you building your home. God have no problem with you building your houses. God have no problem with you improving your life. God absolutely have no problem. But if you are doing all that, but the house of God is not yet completed, God has a problem. You know, I'm about to read something to you. God told them that the glory that brings results, the glory that brings solution, the glory that causes impossible to become possible, the glory does not come Follow me at verse 1. Now they are back home, and their priority is to themselves and not to the things of God. Verse 1 said, this is what the Lord Almighty said. These people say, the time has not yet come to rebuild the lost house. We know that we need to rebuild the temple, but it's not the time. The time now is to rebuild my house, rebuild my sitting room and my living room. I have no commode in my house. I can't go outside to the toilet. So yes, I know that it is a time that we will build the Lord house, but that time has not yet come. Then the word of the Lord came through the prophet Haggai, verse 4. He asked them a question. Is it time for you yourself to be living in your panel houses? Why this house remain in room? Verse 5 now. This is what the Lord Almighty says. Give careful thought to your ways. You have planted much, but you are harvesting little. You're working hard, but you can see the fruit of your labor. You eat, but you never have enough. You drink, but you are not filled. He said you put on clothes, but you are not warm. He said you earn wages only to put them in your pockets that have holes. Not that you are not working. Did you know my son? Please don't know my son, my son. Don't know my son until I get the instruction. Nobody complain to you. Don't go there, John. I said it. I said it, my son. Don't know the sound until I give you instruction. Yeah? Don't do it again, please. Oh, John. Oh, God. Oh, listen to your chest. You are. He said you put money in your pockets, but the fall off. You tell yourself, I got this, why I can see the result. He says, not because you are making effort, it's because your priority is wrong. It's not that you're not supposed to live in panel houses. I want you to have the best, but your priority is wrong. You left my house and you went to the house. It's not a bad thing, but the problem you are making, it is my house that brings the glory. It is my house that brings the solution. So focus on my house first. Focus on it first. Church today, follow me. Let me show you how it is not a waste to give to God and the things of God. It's not a waste. In our text this morning, under consideration, Matthew chapter 26, beginning at verse 3, verse 6 to 12. The Bible said Jesus is in Bethlehem. He's in Bethlehem. John can get us out of the hospital. He's in Bethlehem. And then I will give you versions of things I want you to understand. Matthew and Mark have the same account. Let me help you understand. In Matthew and Mark, Jesus is in Bethlehem, and they said he is at a Pharisee's house. The Pharisee. The man who gave an account that is telling you he's pointing out. Let me read. The man who gave an account that is no different is Mr. Luke and John. Because John said that this man's house they were told that man was sound the lepers. Oh, that man is a former leprosy patient. Jesus went to this man's house to eat. But he's not just a former leprosy patient, he's a Pharisee. Huh? So knowing who Jesus is, there is no boundary to where he can go. There is no limitation to what he can do. So Jesus went. Should have touched it in the first place. So Jesus went. Just leave it, please. Just leave it. So Jesus went. One day, the Bible says a woman, in our text that we read, it did not describe her profession. But when you read Luke's account, Luke said that woman was a prostitute. Matthew account said the woman just went, and when she saw Jesus, she had an alabaster jar. It's like a perfume jar, very expensive perfume. The Bible says she stood behind and she wept because she saw the life that she lived and how God still loved her. She wept and cried, and the most valuable thing she had, the Bible says she broke it. And then she pulled it on Jesus' head. John said, not just on his head, even on his feet. And she took the most precious part of her body, the most respectable part, her head. And she went down to the master's feet and she began to wipe his feet. But something interesting happened. The Bible says, while she's doing this, his disciples, now we didn't say his backbiters, the Bible didn't say his enemies, the Bible didn't say people who were against him, people that he was leading, people that he was training. They asked a question that is our theme this morning. The disciple asked, why this waste? That question means a whole lot. But the first thing that question suggests, that the perfume is too expensive for Jesus. Listen to me. The perfume is too expensive to put on the Savior. It's too expensive to put on the Lion of the tribe of Judah. It's too expensive to put on the Savior of the world. There's a suggestion where we could have sold it and found poor people and give it to them. Jesus not poor. Jesus need nothing. Why this waste? It is only when people decide to give to God and the things of God that it becomes a waste. Follow me. It is only when they decide. Certain people, when they decide to give certain amount to the church, for the project, or for the things of God, someone will ask them, but why so much? Why so much? The church don't need it. God don't need it. Why this waste? Let me tell you why this waste. One, it was an opportunity too good. Too good to pass by. Not many persons have the opportunity to do more on Jesus. Not many persons. In fact, Jesus said in his remark, everywhere this gospel will be preached, this woman's name will be mentioned. Today I still to mention her name because she had opportunity to pull something on the Lord and she did not hold back. A lot of you are missing your opportunity to pull on the Lord. Let me say this to you. Not many persons in their lifetime have an opportunity to build a house unto God. Not many persons. I have that opportunity. I will not abuse that opportunity because one day, 20 years from now, 40 years from now, they will say it was your father that led these people to build that building for the glory of God. It is an opportunity Our grandparents never built a house for God because they never had the opportunity. But then you come to Warren Hall as a church, you have an opportunity to write your name down in the sense of history, in the sense of time, that there was a time you were part of the people that built a house. You built a house that was not for your children. You built a house that was not for your father. You built a house that belonged to God. Why this place? It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity. I'm not abusing this opportunity. I'm not abusing this opportunity. I'm not letting this opportunity to go to waste. Well, it is a privilege to have an opportunity to build a house for God. You take it for granted where you don't see spiritual things. Not many persons have the opportunity. Some people are born in churches that has already been built. They live there, they die there, they bury them there. They did nothing to contribute to that place. You have an opportunity. So when that woman saw the opportunity, she broke it. She brought the most expensive thing and she poured it on Jesus. 2. So I close. Only 2 things I want to tell you. Why this waste? Because she had an opportunity. 2. Listen to this. No echo should be on that. He started saying you can't end my son, and the public people are saying the real self are the same. 2. The valuable perfume was befitting for a valuable person. The valuable perfume was befitting for a valuable person. The only way someone could have recognized this as a waste is when that person did not perceive Jesus as a valuable person. Can I say that again? Yes. The valuable perfume was befitting for a valuable person. The only way someone, a disciple or anyone, could perceive that this was a waste is because they never had eyes to see who Jesus was. Are you with me? You see, when you do not see the person receiving the perfume as a valuable worthy of the perfume or deserving of the perfume, you say it's a waste. Many people don't see that the best giving to this project is not a waste. They see it as a waste. That's what I want to do. It seems to be a waste. Let me talk you forward. Listen to this. We give our valuable things to our children because we value our children. We give them the best. And you ought to do that because your children are valuable to you. So you give them the valuable things. We give the valuable things in our home. We make it available for our home because our homes are valuable to us, and your home should be valuable to you. So you must give the home a valuable thing. We give valuable things to ourselves because we value ourselves. Question: why are we not giving valuable things to God in the church? Because we see it as the waste. Should we give valuable things to God and the things of God? Let me tell you a short life story. When I was getting my office prepared, and I told myself I will do all the lives with my power to get the best. And when I bought the air conditioner, I bought a 50-inch TV for my office. My son came in the office one day, Mr. Klaus, and he saw the TV. And he said, "How much inch is it?" I said, 50. Then he asked me, "Daddy, why you can't take the 50-inch and carry it to the house? Because the biggest one I have in my house is 44. He said, "Why you can't take the 50-inch and carry it to the house and take the 44 and bring it to the office?" Then I asked him why. He said, because your house is where you live. When people come, they will see nice thing there. Then I had to educate him. My office is where God has called me. But it is from this office that God blesses me for you to live the life you are living. So it must have the best in your house. You see, my son is not different from normal quote-unquote Christians. We have the idea that the best things in our lives belong to ourselves. And the best thing in our lives belong to our homes and belong to our children. We believe that, but the things that are best are not for God. Some of the recess we give to our 10 years old are not even 50% of the offering we bring to church. You see, you don't understand about God. You don't understand why you're not pouring your oil on him, because you see it as a waste. The minimum that children carry for recess is $500. Some people, the minimum offering is $100. I want you to give a children even $1,000. But point I want you to understand, God doesn't have problem with you having the best, when you enjoy the best, but you don't live the best, have the best at the expense of God and the place of God. You don't. Oh, you don't. Then you don't understand Matthew chapter 6 and verse 33, when it says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. He said, all the things that you are looking for will come looking for you, because when you prioritize God, God will prioritize you. Don't tell me that man is a pastor and only preaches who can give. That means you don't understand biblical truth. You don't understand. You can treat yourself first and treat God last. But it is God who gave you the strength to get wealth. But it is God. That's what I'm saying to you. It's a shame for all of us to have time in our sitting room and there's no time. It's a shame. On every one of us, it's a shame. And we complain about the dust. But when you go to our houses, you go to our shop, you go to our market, you go to our kitchen, it's better than the place we worship. It's a shame that we live in houses that have middle classes, but up to now we don't. Listen to me. I will tell you that because that's a biblical truth. Until we prioritize God, the mentality is a waste. But here the disciples said, they sort of said and gave to the poor. You know what John said? In fact, it was Judas Iscariot who said that specifically according to John account. And Jesus said, he never even said it because he had time for the poor, because he cared for the poor. It's just because he wanted to need the money to go buy the thing for to go sell it, you're going to use the money. You will never know how to do this thing. But you see that all the time. When a pastor works good, some people are angry. Why? Because the poor people pass all around. Why the pastor will do that? The poor people all around here. Jesus answered that question. He said, you will always have the poor. They will never stop. You will always have. So let me say this to you. It is not a waste to give God the best. Why? Because he requires our best. You know, I close with two stories. You know, I have some people in my life, I don't care what happened, they will always be in my life. One of them is a former pastor, my covenant brother, Pastor Matthew Coleman. When he was still renting to West Johnson living, how do you call that community? New York community. And I was still living in my parents' house with my wife, not having my own property to build to live in. He and I went to Hudson to come from Marshall, and we bought this place. And the church never knew anything about it. And we acquired a piece of land for the church to have a place of its own, to leave Majala place, to acquire a place for the church, when we never had the piece of land for ourselves. You don't understand. It was from there that God blessed us our own land to be our own houses. You don't understand. You see the place where you got school and everything else? He must have divided it, we our two houses here, we put it in fence, and we lived the big boy left right here in the estate. We bought it from us. We didn't buy it for anything we do. We moved the church in January 1st, 2004. When we came and God reassigned him because of his effort and his labor, and I was here, I told you the secret. But we have to look to this window. I have to look to my window. And I told all of you, we're not going to window to my window until we go window here. We put sliding glass here. Before God provided me, we put sliding glass in my window. Let me tell you something. A lot of people today don't know what it means to break their best and most valuable and pull it on the last thing. Because for them, it's a waste. It's a waste to give more. It's a waste to do more. It's a waste to make more sacrifice for God. It's a waste to pray more. It's a waste to make more sacrifice. It's a waste. So we do what everybody else does. We prioritize ourselves. And what we do by doing that, we hinder, we put a blockage to the source of blessing. Because listen to me. Every good and perfect gift comes from above, from the Father of light, who gives to all men freely. So Taurus, no. The 15 inch not going to the house, they will stay here. The only time the 15 inch will go to the house is when the 16 inch come. Then the 15 inch will go to the house. Wow. Because listen to me. From age to age, from time to time, is the Alpha and the Omega. You and I, we are just in the middle. He starts, he ends. We are in the middle. It is He that makes things possible for us. Why can't we prioritize Him? God bless you.